Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melanie Johnson. Today, I want to talk to you about domestic abuse. I am a survivor, and along with telling you some of my story, I want to explain to you the signs of abuse, both from the inside and the outside. And most importantly, I want to show you how you can help someone who is abused. It is my hope that by making you informed, you will be able to use the information to help others and will also be able to share this information to teach others how they can help. Statistically, in 2011, 50% of Americans reported experiencing lifetime emotional abuse. A person attempts to leave an abusive situation 7 times before they actually leave. The most lethal time in an abusive relationship is that time right after the abused leaves the home. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are in abusive relationships in the United States right now. So I wonder, will you help? Today I'm asking you to help combat domestic abuse. I'm going to discuss with you how you can see it, how you can help, and things you should not do. It is very important to be a positive presence in the life of the abused. Stay alert and stay focused and be the anchor that the abused person needs. I'm going to start off with some of my story. So when I was 18, I met my ex-husband, and he loved me. He loved everything about me, and he was in love with me, and he spent so much time with me, and he made me fall deeply in love with him, and we got married. We moved away to Virginia, away from his family and mine, and arguments started, and arguments turned into little fights, and little fights turned into bigger fights, and so on. Slowly, it evolved into manipulation, where I was left feeling like I was the one doing something wrong, and I was helpless, and it just completely changed who I was. I felt ashamed and powerless and controlled, and I felt all alone. Several years into our marriage, my ex-husband began using drugs, and that is where the escalation intensified phenomenally. Emotionally, it became violent, where he was breaking things, and when I began to see that he was gaslighting me for the longest time, I was in shock, and that's the point when I started to think about leaving. Now, gaslighting means when a person is in a relation, a person makes you feel like you're going crazy. They manipulate you so much that they make you feel like you are losing your mind. So how did it make me feel? I was, like I said, alone and afraid. I felt so unwanted. I always felt like I was the one guilty, and it changed my entire personality from the way I had been before. It is so hard to leave, and I say this because when these cycles happen, you go through the thoughts, I love this man or woman. We have these children, we have this house, we have this life, and it can get better. And I thought I could fix it all. And then I would think, well, God, it didn't start out this way. Well, it ended that way. And so how did I leave? Well, I met someone else, and he treated me in a way that showed me the lack of care, respect, and love, and the abuse that I was taking in my current marriage. And it took me out of my trance, and it broke the cycle, and I was able to leave. So what we see when we look at someone who's suffering is all of these things. and we know it's happening, and we can tell them and we can talk to them, and they will not listen. They are not going to act until they are fully ready, if they are ever fully ready. How can we help from the outside? Well, we can be patient, and we can be understanding, and we can always be there to help them out or just to listen. How does a person see this from the inside? They don't see it. They have no idea it's happening. They are so mentally manipulated and abused that they do not see anything that we see from the outside. How does that person wake up that's experiencing all this abuse? Well, I told you it takes a very drastic, very intense event to break you out of your trance and to cut into that cycle and make you see what is actually happening to you and help you get past it and get out. How do you decide to go? Well, it's a decision that comes from a drastic realization. They have to build strength within themselves to walk away, and it's a very, very, very strong strength that has to be built. They have to understand that there is help out there. That is information that we need to pass along. There are government offices, there's safe offices. They can get restraining orders. These offices can help them with that, and finding a place to live and financial assistance. And there are places that offer food assistance, and they can get financial assistance from churches and other institutions and other people. There is a website called joinonelove.org, and they have an app that's called My Plan. And this app can assist anyone in determining if their relationship is unhealthy. To be able to move on, that person needs their family and they need their friends. They may need groups to help them talk through the events that they've suffered. They may need therapy. But they have to have the internal will to move on in order to be able to get out of that situation. So how can we help from the outside? Well, make time for them. Stay involved in their lives. Learn the warning signs like low self-esteem, fearfulness, them being overly apologetic and anxious, and seeing the depression within them. Believe them and help them form a plan for safety if they ask. The things that you should not do are bash the abuser, because that will send them running back. Don't blame the victim. The abuser's already doing that. Don't underestimate the abuser or provoke the abuser, because they're already escalated. Do not promise help that you can't give, because that'll just be another bad thing happening in the life of that abused person. Don't pressure the victim. Again, that will cause them to run right straight back to the abuser. Do not give up on that person, and do not make things more difficult for them. In closing, I want to say, having lived and being able to stand before you, a survivor, I feel it is necessary to have taught these things to you today, so that maybe you will be able to help someone in the future, or maybe you can stay away from an abuser, or maybe this has helped you figure out a way to get out of an abusive relationship. We all need to have and to pass along this knowledge and to use it as ammunition to fight the silent, deadly battle of domestic abuse. Please help me spread this word and help those who are unable to help themselves and who really, really need you by their side to get through, to come out, to get away, and to move forward. Thank you.